In my last video, I mentioned, well, I remarked that the government might be welcoming this torrent of questioning about what Lee Anderson said, because it prevents the questioners from asking them whether they actually know what they're doing or not. And here we have a fine example of proof that they don't know what they're doing. I'll tell you about that after I've told you I'm Grannyopteryx. Okay, so apart from the fact that Jeremy Hunt is now going after pensioners who've worked all their lives, have paid taxes and are now in retirement and probably not that financially secure, he's now going for taxing them because they're a weak group that he feels won't be able to put up too much of a fight. I would be a little more concerned about that if I were Jeremy Hunt. Well, no, if I had any sense, which obviously Jeremy Hunt does not. Another group of apparently weak people he has chosen to target are non-domiciled residents. And what's a non-domiciled resident? UK residents who have their permanent home, their domicile, outside the UK may not have to pay UK tax on foreign income. So there are certain things you don't have to pay tax for abroad. So let's assume you are American and you're living in London, some financial house or other. Whatever you earn in America, or the rent on your house there, whatever business you might have there, whatever consultancy companies you might run there, you don't pay tax on them. You only pay tax on what you have here. So any property you've brought here that you're renting out, any businesses you run here, any salary you get, that sort of thing. I want to make it clear, I'm not a non-domiciled person myself. I'm definitely not in those sorts of tax brackets. Oh, I'm not even an economist. Mind you, economists, so far as I'm concerned, can't get things right any more than somebody reading oracles. But yeah, that's my own opinion. But here I am, an ordinary citizen. Why am I arguing for the super rich, or the pretty damn rich anyway? Well, that's because when people are rich, they spend money, and somehow or another that money gets distributed. If some non-dom living in America comes to London and then buys a kitchen for their brand new flat in Hampstead, then the person who is selling them that kitchen is earning money. The workmen who are installing that kitchen, or the people who make that kitchen, they're all earning money. That non-dom may not be paying tax on American earnings, but they are paying tax on British earnings. So the money is coming to this country anyway. And then suddenly saying, no, now, because you live here, and I believe it's for a certain period as well, it is 15 years or something, but anyway, if they chose to stay here after that, then they'd have to start paying British taxes as British taxes. So sooner or later, that money will come, or they'll leave, whatever. But now they're going to leave a little earlier because Jeremy Hunt has decided he's going to abolish the non-dom status. So immediately, it says here in the Telegraph, advisors are inundated with phone calls from those planning to leave. Because, you see, the most overriding characteristic of a non-domiciled resident in this country is that they have somewhere else to go and the money to go. It's no good punching at somebody if they're the sort of person who can dodge every punch you throw. So instead of having the general income of those non-doms, we're going to get nothing because they're going to be off, I don't know what, back to America or Switzerland, whichever country will benefit from their financial savvy, their entrepreneurship, their imagination, and their get up and go, which they are doing. Says here, tax lawyers have been inundated with phone calls from non-doms planning to leave Britain after Jeremy Hunt announced a crackdown in the budget. Members of the international elite attacked the Chancellor's plan to scrap the tax status as arrogant and short-termist. Well, I wouldn't say arrogant. Well, yeah, arrogant in the arrogance of stupidity, arrogant in the arrogance of Dunning-Kruger levels. These guys will take their money up sticks and go somewhere else. I know it's unfashionable to speak up for the rich, but there have to be rich people in the country. It just works better that way. Communism tried it the other way. It doesn't work, does it? And just getting at people, I'm quite sure that Jeremy Hunt thought, well, if I get at non-doms, most people in Britain are going to think, that's right, he's getting at the rich, so that doesn't bother us. That's what they thought about inheritance tax. It just gets at the rich, you know, the knobs out there in their country estates, until it started coming at ordinary middle-class people whose ordinary houses suddenly started to attract huge inheritance taxes, and the kids ended up having to sell the family semi-detached to pay those taxes. All of this stuff, when it starts sort of like, let's get at the rich, it ends up getting at the not so rich, and in this case, the pensioners. They are really, really not so rich. It's a path to disaster. And quite frankly, I don't see any other party coming up with any other sort of ideas. Liz Truss, who unfortunately lacked the grit of her model, Margaret Thatcher, she tried to attract the sort of wealth that I'm talking about here, and she was immediately shouted down by the cabal surrounding Jeremy Hunt and his pals in the Bank of England. And it's not as if I am not looking forward to the next general election, because what sort of a choice do we have here between disasters? Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.